Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us today for today's webinar. We're featuring Amber Keller, a Solutions Advisor here at Higher Logic. Today, Amber will be providing a demo on Higher Logic where we'll be going back to the basics. But first, some housekeeping. If you have any questions, please use the chat box in GoToMeeting. And also, please let us know if there are any audio issues, and we'll work to resolve them quickly. Also, this webinar will be recorded, so you will be receiving an email with the recording within 48 hours. Without further ado, please take it away, Amber.
Thank you, Jenny. So welcome, and thank you all for attending today's webinar, Back to the Basics. My name is Amber Keller, and I'm one of the Solution Advisors here at Higher Logic. So today we're going to talk about why you should leave the past in the past and ditch your old dated listservs and upgrade to the latest and greatest engagement software, the Higher Logic Community solution. So why are listservs not a good option for your organization? Well, listservs are data technology. If you've ever used a listserv, it's very hard to find information that you're looking for. You have to scroll through numerous posts, and most of us don't really have time for that. Listservs are also not integrated with your AMS, your membership database. So it becomes difficult to monitor those people that may no longer be members of your organization but are still on your listserv. Now with the Higher Logic Community solution, our discussions are the latest and greatest technology. They are fully searchable and much more user-friendly than a regular listserv. The other great thing is that our community solution integrates with many databases just out of the box. This is very important because then you have the ability to track members versus non-members. So this is what you may be dealing with today. It's pretty ugly. Why use this old dated functionality when you could be using this? Our community discussions are intuitive, user-friendly, and frankly, they just look really good. So before jumping right in, let's start with some basic background information on Higher Logic. Higher Logic has been replacing listservs since 2007. We've actually replaced listservs for over 1,000 organizations. We work with associations and nonprofits and currently run over 270,000 different communities. We've been very successful and grown really quickly. The great thing is once you become a client of Higher Logic, we have a full set of tools that will guide you through that implementation process. Really from step by step, from launching, maintaining, setting expectations for your community. Our best practices are there to get your community up and running successfully. You will get a dedicated project manager that's going to hold your hand and walk you through creating a community. That's why we have a 98% retention rate on our clients. We do have a focus on integrations with our clients' AMS solutions. It's all single sign-on, so members don't need to remember another login. Another plus is the fact that our software is compatible with screen readers for the visually impaired. So what is a community all about and why is it different from a listserv? Well, a community is an online collaborative environment, a place where your members can share best practices, they can learn from one another, and they can engage on specific topics of interest. However your members want to engage with you, we've got you covered. Some members like using their mobile device, their tablets, via our responsive mobile web version. Some like using our mobile branded app for their organization. The great thing is that our solution is that we make it as simple as allowing your members to start discussion messages right from their email and respond to discussion messages right from your email. So we offer a number of ways for your members to connect and engage with one another. So we build engagement. Now, communities drive business goals. It's not just about providing your members a listserv. It's about increasing engagement and retention rates. So we help grow your member base. Every org that we've ever worked with has grown their membership on the first year with Higher Logic. We build successful communities, ones that members will participate and engage in. And once you get higher engagement levels with your members, they're going to do more within your organization, whether it be spend more at your store, attend more events, and so on. Our community solution isn't something we're custom building for you. Out of the box, it just works. So moving on, let's talk stats here for a minute. Here are some of the results from the 2017 Layman Report. This report found that 30% of organizations right now have a community. About 31% of organizations are evaluating community solutions today. This report also found that Higher Logic has a dominant market share. Right now, we're running 51% of all the communities out there. And there is a really high customer satisfaction when organizations use our community platform. They are happy organizations with successful communities. So let's talk about our core product. This is what a community will give you. Of course, the discussions would replace your listserv, but it also does much more. And I'm going to skip around here. So we're going to start with our directories. This is really member profiles. And again, we can populate information from your AMS, your membership database, things like who the member is, where they work, their credentials. And we can also put members into appropriate communities based on security roles, event registration, community involvement. But the directory is really that place where members can find one another. Then let's talk about our discussions. So what makes up each community is all the discussions that are going on within that community and a few other modules in here, which I'll cover in just a second. So with the discussions, this is really what replaces your listservs. This is where members can communicate with one another on specific topics of interest. The discussions are fully searchable and they're much more user-friendly than a regular listserv. And you can share documents with one another. And that's where our resource library comes in. This is really a knowledge bank to find documents for that one-stop shop collaboration. And it's not just Word documents and PDFs. There's many different types of files that can be stored in the resource library. Webinars, movies, videos, podcasts, and so on. Now, the other thing that makes up or is also part of a community is our event calendars. So if you think of a board of directors community, and let's say you want to post the upcoming teleconference or meeting information, you post it in the event calendar for that community so everyone in that community knows what's going on, knows what's coming up. We also have blogging capabilities. You can blog within a specific community or have a global blog as a member. And we have a wiki glossary, which is just a glossary of wiki glossary, which is a glossary of industry terms, great for staff just starting out in the industry, trying to learn all the acronyms the org uses. Also great for SEO, search engine optimization, helps your organization to be found. We talked about the responsive design. We do have gamification, that badging, ribbons, points, which everybody seems to love, and really helps with member scoring as well. Now, our analytics really help keep your finger on the pulse of what your members are responding to and engaging with. We have lots of reports that can be pulled around who your most engaged members are. When were they most engaged? What is your most discussed, or what is your most shared document? Most discussed topic within your communities. So a lot of that information that you can capture and get that business intelligence. So maybe at your annual conference, you can have a session based off of some of that business intelligence that you're gaining off of what your members are discussing within the communities. We also have automation rules, which really make it easy for the community manager to grow engagement utilizing these rules. Again, we already have them created for you, lots of canned rules out there, and you can also customize your own. And I'm going to talk about these a little bit more in depth in a few slides here. Now, if you really want to get fancy, we offer a ton of optional modules that could be a great fit for your organization. We have a mentor program, volunteer program, expert directory, and many other options here. But you can, if you feel that lots of options out here that you can utilize if and when you see fit. And this is just something that you cannot get from a listserv. Now, I wanted to mention a few benefits or features of the community for each of the roles that I've listed here. So we're going to start with the community member. So for your members, they're able to get this valuable user-generated content, really the opportunity to share insights in a one-of-a-kind knowledge center. Also, collaboration and interaction with peers and like-minded audience, a place, really a home where they can meet, share ideas, and answer questions. It's networking made easy. For your community managers, it's an easy-to-use platform to facilitate and control discussions with role-based access. They also have many reports where they can measure member engagement and member interactions. We have dashboards built in and custom reporting tools. We have any engagement data a community manager would need. Now I'm going to come back to the association leadership in a few slides here, so we're going to skip that for now and move along to IT. But for your IT team, it's a secure platform environment with different levels of security settings, really access and control. And we have that pre-built integration with your AMS, your support, email marketing platforms as well. We integrate with many of those, and really an all-in-one connected ecosystem. We talk about frictionless engagement here at Higher Logic a lot. And within this daily digest, we can see just that. Greg's reply here is now part of the discussion, and he actually never had to visit the community. He responded to this discussion message right within his email. If members are used to listservs, this is a great option and very easy for them. They can start and respond to discussion messages right from their email. Now, I said that we were going to come back to the automation rules, so we talk a lot here at Higher Logic about a member's life cycle. And we use a feature called automation rules to guide the members through the community in hopes of keeping them more engaged and active for the life of their membership. Because it's all about getting the right message to the right member at the right time, essentially moving from step 1 to step 2 and so on, all the way up the curve to get your members to participate and engage in the community. So let me give you an example of an automation rule that many of our clients utilize. Let's say you have a member that joins a community, and that member does not post a question and is just kind of a lurker out there. And after maybe 60, 90 days, you decide that you want to get them to start engaging. We have an automation rule that is set up where you can turn it on and we will automatically send a templated email saying, hey, do you want to ask a question? It's easy to do. Here's the steps to do it. Many of our community managers have said that this is very successful, and oftentimes members will respond to that email and say, oh my gosh, thank you so much for sending this to me. I've been meaning to engage in the community. I will go out there and start discussing with other members. So again, it's all set up automatically using these automation rules. It makes for a lot less work for your staff. You don't have to constantly monitor each member and what they're doing. Our automation rules solves that issue of constantly monitoring your members. And again, the goal is to move a member all the way up the curve so they commit to doing more within your organization in hopes that they will become a very active member and be involved with your organization for a very long time. I'm going to pause here for a second and see if there's any questions.
Hey, Amber, this is Greg. It turns out there are some questions. So earlier you mentioned that we work in conjunction with some different email marketing platforms. And the question was, do we work with Constant Contact? And I'll go ahead and answer it for us.
Yes.
The answer is yes, we do. So these automation rules we're talking about here can be executed in Higher Logic or can be exported out to an email marketing platform like Constant Contact. So part of the mission is, if we're collecting more data and we're getting a better picture of who your members are, you can send more targeted emails so those calls to action are more successful because we're targeting them better. So yes, we work with Constant Contact. Other providers we commonly work with are Magnet Mail and Informs.
Okay, thank you, Greg. All right, so moving on here, people learn in many different ways. So we have a lot of options to offer your staff for learning about the HireLogic solution, and most is free once you become a client here. So I'm just going to cover a little bit on each of these. Our Hug site, this is our HireLogic user group. This is our own community that we use for all of our clients to collaborate with one another and really help them get the most out of their community by connecting you with other HireLogic experts, clients, partners. It is home to interactive discussion groups, resource libraries, go-to-market strategies where you can ask questions, share stories, find training and education opportunities. Is pretty much your home base. The next one that I'm going to cover is the HireLogic Academy. And this is a 2-day course that we offer in our office in the DC location. And it really provides you with the learning path for those technical skills, product knowledge, best practices for that sustainable client success. It is free for you to attend, and it's really crafted for clients in the implementation phase, those new to the community, and those that may need extra help taking engagement to the next level. We offer a monthly HireLogic learning series, and this is a series, it's a collection of social networking webinars that are hosted by industry experts, association executives, and the HireLogic staff. It covers new topics and creates conversations really in the association nonprofit space. And HireLogic is a CAE approved provider, so you can earn free CAE credits by attending these different webinars. We have our Superform conference every year, and this is really our annual user group meeting. Anything you could want to learn about the HireLogic community solution will be discussed there. Lots of sessions, speakers, exhibit information, a great event to attend. We also have our SNAP training that are 30-minute webinars, really keeping all of our clients up to date on our product and what we're doing within the community solution. And then a couple other webinar courses that you can take to kind of brush up those community management skills. Now, I said I was going to come back to this. So with most associations, the leadership of your organization wants measured results. And we provide you with the tools you need to get those measured results. So let's take a look at one of our case studies that came up with some pretty significant measured results in regards to launching their community. I'm sure many of you on the line today are familiar with ASAE, the American Society of Association Executives. ASAE uses the HireLogic community software to run their community Collaborate. This is a great tweet put out by Reggie, ASAE CIO, where he had said the best thing that they've done in the last 15 years is to launch Collaborate. They actually have some stats to back this up. ASAE found that members of Collaborate are 30% more likely to recommend ASAE to a peer or a friend, and 33% more likely to spend more money on different programs or events that they have going on. Let's take a closer look at the case study on ASAE's community Collaborate. ASAE transitioned from Listservs to the community, and it was a very smooth process, a lot smoother than they had anticipated. So how did they prepare for this transition? They sent several communications to members alerting them that this change was coming. Members were educated on how this change would affect them. ASAE had a volunteer group to beta test the new community. So let's talk about what were the benefits. they found that there is an enhanced engagement from the entire ASAE community. They found that members use the community to expand their professional network. Members are able to share experiences and best practices with their peers, and they're able to view volunteer opportunities to accomplish duties. And finally, they found that it's just much easier to use than their old listserv. Now, there isn't a software vendor that does all things well. So the trend in purchasing software is to find the best of breed partners and put them together to serve your unique needs for your members. So we have a lot of partners to help you create the best ideal solution for your organization. We provide a seamless, frictionless user experience to the end user. So all of this, as we like to call it, is your ecosystem. It doesn't matter what AMS, CMS, email marketing solution you're using. We integrate with many of them, and it's all single sign-on. Our web services and API-based integrations allow your current database to serve as the backbone of your member information. Now, as I've mentioned many times already, we integrate with many different databases. If you don't see your membership database on this list here, it's most likely because I ran out of room for logos. So we integrate with about 50 plus different AMSs out of the box.
Hey, Amber, I want to jump in for a second.
Yep.
We had a question, and this is the perfect time to address that question. So the question was, will the Socius platform be integrated with the Higher Logic platform? And if so, what's the timeline for this? To answer that question, I would first direct you to the press release on our website when the Higher Logic and Socius merger happened. That's a great place to get all of the official information about how that works. To answer that question, I would need to know a little bit more about what platform you're referring. Socius has a community platform, and it also has a database platform. If you're using the Socius database to manage your members, the answer is yes. We already have an integration between the Socius database platform and the Higher Logic community, so that's available. If you're talking about the Socius community platform, it's a similar platform to what Higher Logic offers, and at this point, we're continuing to support that platform for anybody who's already on it. I see some more people jumping in here and posting additional databases. We'll get back to you on a one-to-one answer if we support that specific database or not. Odds are, if they have an API, we do integrate with them. So just to clarify, if you're using the Socius database, yes, we integrate out of the box. If you're using the Socius community, you can still keep using that technology if you want. And if you'd like to migrate that over to Higher Logic, we are offering anyone on the Socius platform pretty much a free migration from that platform to Higher Logic, moving the data on and helping you get set up on the Higher Logic platform if that's the choice you wanted to make. Back to you, Amber.
Thank you. Okay, so Higher Logic, just to kind of wrap things up here, Higher Logic is designed to empower relationship building and foster community evolution. We believe that those are the fundamental elements to the long-term relevance of any organization. So we're committed to your success because community is what we do. It's our passion, and we have happy clients. Now, hopefully, everyone is ready to take a little bit of a closer look at some of the Higher Logic community modules here. So let's start out by looking at the community homepage, or an example of a community homepage. This is just a snapshot of my demo site. With most communities, the best practice is to brand the community. So it would have your color scheme, your logo, any place that you see navigation, naming conventions, all that stuff can be easily changed by you here. And all of these different boxes down here are just blocks of information, so they can be moved around and hidden and so on if needed. Now, I'm logged in here, and the system knows me, so the information that will show is information relevant to me as a member. Since I am a member of the Board of Directors community, I will see the latest and greatest discussions from that community. The system will only show the community discussions, resource libraries, blogs that are relevant to me as a member. Now, if we look at the bottom half of the community homepage, With a click of one button, a member can easily and quickly set up their profiles, start a discussion, share a document, or connect with other members. You also have the opportunity to bring in your organization's Facebook feed, Twitter feed, and many other third-party widgets like a polling, some from SurveyMonkey or PollDaddy.com. So you get to really figure out what you'd like to showcase on your main community homepage. Now let's take a look at the member directory and a member's profile. We have many organizations that have a few different types of directories. As you can see that I've listed them here, a member directory, company directory, or speaker directory. And if we go into just the basic member directory, we do have a basic search here where you can find a member by the first name, last name, and so on. And we also have this advanced search, which is what you're looking at on the screen. The advanced search gives you many additional fields for members to search and find one another. And the great thing about the advanced search is the fact that you are able to decide what you want these search fields to be when you're setting up the community. Now, if we go into a member's profile, this is an example of what a profile would look like. Keep in mind that member profiles will be set up with specific demographics that are relevant to your organization. So member profiles are different for every org. We are able to pull over information, like I had mentioned many times already, from your AMS and fill in the fields such as name, organization, phone number, address, things like that. You can also pull in information from LinkedIn. So having these two options are really great because then members do not have to retype that information. It's just automatically filled in for them because nobody really wants to fill out another profile. There are many important aspects within the member profile area, but the one that I wanted to point out was the community notifications area. So within our community notifications, this is where a member can view all the communities that they are currently a member of. From here, each member can decide how they want to subscribe to each of the communities. You can subscribe in real time, so anytime a discussion is posted to that community, the member would receive an email on that. A daily digest at the end of the day, the member will receive all the discussions that happened on that day, or no emails. The member would just go out to the community online and find the information that they're looking for. There are also two other options that are pretty popular. We have this consolidated daily digest, where this allows you to receive all the discussions from the communities that you select in one email at the end of the day, or a consolidated weekly digest. So one email at the end of the week with all the discussions from the communities that you select. This really just cuts down on the amount of emails your members receive on a daily or weekly basis. And again, you will not find options like this in a listserv. So let's take a look at some of the communities we have set up. Right now, we're looking at my communities. So these are the only communities that I'm currently a member of. There may be other ones that I can join or I could just view, and we would be able to find those by looking at the all community options here, not the my community, but the all communities. Now, remember, as I had mentioned earlier, the community includes all of the discussions, the resource library, the events, the blog posts, and the people. The way that you set these up can vary, but what I'm going to show you is just out of the box. So from an implementation perspective, it's very simple. You don't have to define and build everything. We have the product for you to utilize. You figure out what information you want to capture in here. So this is a closer look at the Board of Directors community. We are able to see all the latest discussions, the latest shared files, and some announcements here. Keep in mind, as the community admin or the person in charge of the community, you can move these content boxes around. And if you didn't want to see a specific content box, such as the announcements, you could just simply edit the page and hide that content box. If you want to see the information within one of the discussions, all you do is simply click on that particular topic, and you'll be taken into where that information is stored. You do not have to scroll through the entire thread like you would with a listserv. Our community discussions are much easier than that. But if we look down here at the bottom half of the Board of Directors community, you're able to see the members of the community, and this is great because then you can easily connect with other members right from here. And if you needed to pull a list of your committee members, that can easily be done from here as well. Now, if we wanted to, again, take a look at one of these discussions by clicking on that particular topic, if we click on a topic, it takes us right into that specific discussion, and this is where all the collaboration and sharing is happening, where members are really engaging with one another. Our community discussions are user-friendly and neatly formatted. It is very easy to find the specific discussions you are looking for. And like I said, you don't have to scroll through numerous discussions like you would with a regular listserv. So from here, you can see that we also have some documents. There's a document attached to this discussion. And you have also other options that you can, reply to the sender. You could print it. We do have moderation. If you find something inappropriate, you as a member can select that. That message will get sent to the community admin, and they can accept or decline that post. And a few other options for you to do as well. Let's take a look at a take a look at our resource library here really quick.
Hey, Amber, we had a couple questions.
Yep.
Yeah, we had a couple that I think are really relevant right here. The first question is there a number of communities that you can have, or is there a limit to the number of communities you can have? The second question is, are communities public, private? How does that work? And tied to that is, can you restrict membership to certain communities, i.e., if you're not on the board, you don't see the Board of Directors community? How do they sign up? Do we have to approve them? Can you answer those for us?
Well, for the first one, you guys with the community solution, you'll receive unlimited amounts of communities. So you can create communities for any committee you have, special interest group, section, board, region. If you start the project, implementing the community solution, and if you start out with 5 communities and in a year you have 5 million, great. Okay, so unlimited amount of communities. Now, as far as private and people getting assigned to communities and so on, you can lock down communities, so only certain members can see that certain communities exist. So for instance, your board of directors, that would be a locked down community. And what we would be able to do is, if you have certain security levels of your members in the database, like Bob and Mary and Sue are all board members, they're noted that way in the database, we can bring those people over, place them into the Board of Directors community on the Higher Logic side of things. And if their credentials change in the database, they're no longer on the board, that's going to flow over into Higher Logic. They will no longer have access to the Board of Directors community. So yes, you can have open communities. A lot of our organizations leave some of their communities open for even non-members to see snippets of the information that's being talked about. And you can have specific, private communities for only certain types of members based off of their security levels in the database. Did I answer all the questions, Greg?
Yeah, that was all the questions. Thanks for answering them. And I want to thank everyone for all their questions they're typing on the webinar. We've got a lot of great questions coming in. Keep them coming.
Okay, so speaking of documents, as I was covering here earlier, each community has their own resource library where the documents from the community are stored. So you can search for documents many different ways, as you see listed here, a couple different ways. And you can also look at them in a folder or a list view. So if we take a little bit of a closer look at a specific document here, you can see that there are, you could add tags and keywords related to the document. Those tags and keywords, again, would be something that you guys would set up when you are implementing your community. You can also see if anybody has recommended the document and other stats here as well to see if it's a popular document. As a side note, from an admin perspective, you can run a report and see which, like for instance, board of directors members have not read or viewed the document prior to the board meeting, which may be useful during the meeting when questions come up about that document, okay? So you can do fun things like that. Now, we looked at a community discussion online. This is what that discussion would look like coming through to your email, okay? And so I posted it online. This is what it looks like in your email. Very nice, neat, very similar to what it looks like online here. Now, if we look at that email a little bit closer, it looks great. It's nicely formatted, easy to read. Of course, the name of the community is listed on the top, and you have the ability to change the colors to match your organization. From here, if you wanted to reply to this community discussion, you simply click on the reply button here at the top, and the community email address would automatically fill in. Another option would be to use the reply to group, and that will also allow you to reply to the community discussion, and that email address automatically fills in. If you wanted to reply directly to the sender, you could click on that button and it would be brought back out to the community to do so. So we always say, if your members know how to create and send an email, they can easily engage within the community. Now, hopefully, I've given you all a better understanding about how the HierLogic community differs from a regular listserv. Our goal is to get your members to engage with one another, to ask questions and get answers, to share best practices, and to network with one another in a way that is easy for all of your members. Now, if you're interested in learning how we can help your organization transition to the HierLogic community, please contact us for more information.
Hey, Amber, question for you. We started off today with the concept of, back to basics. Why is a community different, better, separate than a listserv? I just wanted to ask, is there any functionality I lose in migrating from a listserv to a community?
No, not that I would be aware of, because you are able to, and your members, if they're used to those listservs, they're able to do the same thing from their email. They can start messages, they can respond to messages right from their email. But the nice thing is, if with the old dated listserv, you have to scroll through all the different topics that you're looking for, whereas with the community solution, you simply click on the topic that you're interested in. You're taken right down to that, and you can respond to that message directly from there. So no, not that I could see. You had showed a discussion in kind of one email, and you had talked about some preferences where I might be able to choose a daily digest. Could I also reply from email from the daily digest? Yes, definitely. You can reply from email from your daily digest. Okay. Couple other thoughts. If I have an active listserv and members like it and they're using it now, can I migrate that content over to the community so I don't lose any of those good conversations that have already happened? You can. Yep. Definitely. And then how do I transition members from a listserv to a community? Are they going to be mad about this? Like, is there a strategy behind it? How do I do that? Well, that's really what our implementation specialists will help you with as well. But if we go back to the case study that that ASAE did in regards to making sure that your members are aware that this is coming, okay? So you want to make sure that it's a smooth process. You're going to be sending several communications to your members alerting them that this is coming, okay? Educate them on how it will affect them. And then you'll want to have that beta group that's going to start kind of testing the community solution, making sure that everything is kind of seamless when you go live with the community, okay? So there is a strategy, there is a plan behind it, and HireLogic, your dedicated project manager, is going to help you through that every step of the way, okay?
Awesome. We have a couple more questions that are coming in. Give us 1 second to read that. While we're reading that one, the last question was, so I'm interested, how long does it actually take to get this up and running? What sort of time and commitment am I investing to make this sort of thing successful on the front end?
Sure. Yeah, sure. So it takes about 40 to 45 hours of your time to get the community solution up and running. We say that, you know, that's not obviously within 1 week. We say give yourselves 3 to 4 months. Now, some organizations, it takes less time, and some organizations, it takes a little bit longer. So it's just a matter of, you know, your organization, what other projects you have going on, but that's kind of the timeline, 40 to 45 hours of your time. And again, you have to keep in mind that this is not a heavy IT intense project. The IT, the integration to the database is about 2 to 4 hours of your time. The remaining hours is really dedicated to the membership, the marketing, the communications people that are going to be setting up the community, the logo, the look, the feel, the different communities that you're going to have. You're going to start seeding some of the communities. You're going to maybe add those tags and keywords. So that's really the majority of the time is going to be spent with that group of people.
Perfect. I was going to ask the rest of Molly's questions, but I think you answered them all. From a IT support side, you know, it's not an IT project. It's really a strategy project. The integration is going to be one of the easiest parts of this. Because we have pre-existing integrations with so many of those databases, it's not something we're custom building one of for you. It's leveraging an out-of-the-box integration with a partner we already have and configuring it in a way that meets your needs. So where's your membership flag? What type of members do you have? How does statuses work? Where do you store your committees? Those are the sort of questions we ask, and we don't really need a developer to help answer those. Anybody who uses the database can help answer it. To tag onto that, what if I just love the idea of community and I want the benefits of community, but I'm not really into managing it? What sort of services can I leverage from HireLogic to help me be successful?
Yeah, so we have a whole team here at HireLogic, our community managers, that some organizations that say just that. They don't have time, they don't want to manage the community. So you can hire us to actually run your community for you, okay? And so we'll do the entire setup, we'll do the monitoring of your community, we'll keep, you know, we'll do all of your automation rules, the engagement stats, we'll get you all the information that you will need in regards to the community. We'll act as a staff member of your organization. So it's a really good option for organizations that just say, you know what, we want you to do it for us.
Perfect, thank you. Another question we got through the chat, and keep them coming, these are some great questions. Is there a sweet spot for size? Are we too small for a community to really work?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of small organizations, and when I say small, it's like 1 to 2 staff people with, you know, a couple, maybe 100 to 500 members. So really the community works for all size organizations. We have some very, very large organizations, and we have, again, like I said, some very, very small organizations where the community is what they need for their members to be able to collaborate and talk with one another. Greg, do you want to add to that?
No, I think that was perfect. You know, organizations come in all shapes and sizes, and the community can be tailored to their needs. So it doesn't really matter the size of the organization. If there's the need to collaborate amongst members, I think we're a good fit. Yep. So I do want to thank everyone for posting their questions. We've had a lot of great questions come through the chat. This is probably the most engaged chat I've ever been a part of, so that was pretty exciting. If there are any other questions, feel free to type them in or ask them now. If not, we'll wrap up the webinar and we'll give you 15 minutes of your afternoon back. All right, we don't see anyone typing on the chat, so I'll assume we answered everyone's questions today. Thank you. Yep, thanks, Molly, for asking some great questions. And a couple people asked questions, and our answer is we'll follow up with you. We're taking a lot of notes, and we'll have someone reach out to you to answer some of those detailed questions you asked. Some of them were a little bit too detailed to go into on a webinar. Amber, back to you. You want to close this out?
Okay. Thank you, everybody, for attending. And definitely, if you do have additional questions, feel free to reach out to HierLogic, and we will get back to you and as soon as we can. And this, again, like Jenny said at the beginning, the PowerPoint and recording will be sent out within the next couple days here. So, okay. Thanks all for attending. Have a great day.